who's new to the real estate space and you want to get some deals, I kind of want to cut out some of the noise, because when you get into the business, what I've noticed is there's this overwhelming amount of information, and it's kind of like, where do I go? What do I do? And I want to share with you some of the things that I've learned over the past couple weeks, and I hope that they provide you some value, and I hope that they help you get more deals. One of the things that I want to talk about is the agent outreach piece. So I have a ton of experience doing cold calling, cold dialing. Being in the mortgage space, I had to do a bunch of cold calling and talk to people who, didn't know me from this guy or that guy or whatever, and just try to create rapport. And one of the things that I learned from that experience, those experiences, and also being a team lead and helping other agents get on the phone and kind of get the courage up, is that when you're calling people and you're feeling uneasy about it or feeling intimidated about it, I want you to pretend like you're talking to somebody that you've known forever. And I've found that being super candid on the phone, especially in really doing a bunch of outreach to agents, I have found that the agents, they're, for the most part, really stinking cool. Now, I've dealt with some people who are not so friendly. And usually what I'll do if someone's giving me like a little bit of pushback or they're giving me attitude is I'll just ask them like, hey, am I bothering you? I don't want to waste your time. Like, and what I've noticed when I ask that question is the person will usually say like, no, you're not wasting my time. And they kind of drop that guard. Or they'll get even more grouchy and more defensive. And in which point I have rule number one, and it's no assholes. So I don't want to work with them anyways. And then I usually get off the call like, you know what? I think we're probably not a great fit to work together. Talk to you later. If you're intimidated to get on the phone, what I would say to you is don't be. There's nothing that an agent or a seller is going to say to you that you probably can't just come up with an answer. And a lot of times, some of the stuff that they're asking really isn't that difficult anyways. They're not, you're just having a conversation. I always say like the best salespeople are just people who are communicating options. Like I'm not selling you anything. I'm just telling you like, hey, this is like, what I can offer for the property. I ran the numbers. This is what they look like. And the numbers are just kind of the numbers. You might not want to hear that. I don't say those words, but thinking to myself, like you might not want to hear it, but the numbers are just the numbers. And this is what I'm willing to work for. And this is what I'm willing to do. So if you think to yourself, like, I'm just the communicator of information to this person, and position it to where in your mind, you think like, hey, I'm just going to talk to this person like I've known them forever. Why do you do that? Because if you talk to somebody like you've known them forever, there's going to be some kind of this familiarity in the tone of your voice, and the real you is going to come out. People want to do business with the real you. So that would be my very first suggestion. If you're afraid of picking up the phone and doing agent outreach, don't. There is nothing to be afraid of. Borrow my belief. I believe in you, and do it scared, do it anyway. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is Privy. Okay, so a lot of guys in the sub-2 community, in the astro flipping community, I think the astro flipping community, I take that back because I'm not 100% sure, but I do believe that astro flipping, even Homeschool by Tarek, a lot of these guys are talking about using Privy to find deals. So one of the things that was really confusing to me is all these blue bubbles and what it means. And when you look at these blue bubbles, I'm going to go into Dallas here, okay? When you see these numbers inside these bubbles, what it means is this is the amount of investor activity in that area, okay? And I don't know over what period of time. I don't know if it's over the last 12 months, the last 6 months, or whatever. It just means that investors play in this space. So when I heard that, I'm like, well, shoot, I don't want to be in there. It's probably super competitive. There's probably a bunch of guys who are calling all these people. They know exactly what to say. I don't stand a chance. They're going to eat my lunch. But what I've learned is actually the exact opposite. I have talked to a bunch of agents who have received a bunch of calls on, on properties, and talked to a bunch of sub-2 students. But it's not all the time. It's only some of the time. And here's the thing. So if you are looking for properties, let's just say you're like, you know what? I don't want the competition. I feel like I'm going to outsmart the system. And everyone thinks this. I thought the same thing. I'm going to outsmart the system. Man, there's no investors in this area. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to eat up all the deals. Well, the problem with that is if you go into that area and let's say you buy it, you get a house under contract that you're wanting to sell to an investor, there are no investors to sell to. You don't have anyone to sell the property to. So you got to go into these areas where there's a lot of investor activity because it will give you more opportunity to sell that deal once you get it under contract. And ultimately, you want to have that person that the flipper, you want the person who's going to go in and rehab the property, you want to have them on deck. And so what they teach is to go in and find that person first. And you can do that using this program. And so you have a buyer before you actually have a property under contract. So once you get it under contract, you can immediately take it and bring it to that buyer and say, look what I got you. Here's my assignment fee. Do you want this? Do you want this deal? And if they say no, it's okay, because you see all these blue bubbles. These are all other potential investors, and you can use Privy to find them. Okay, now the next thing I want to talk about is like the easiest filters you could ever use to find a deal on Privy, okay? And check this out. So I'm going to stay in this Dallas area, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here and I'm going to click deals. And then I'm going to click fix and flip. And again, this is going to bring up, and there's a little bit of a lag here. It's going to bring up all the properties that have been fixed and flipped. Okay, 386 of them. I don't know in what time period or whatever. And I'm going to click find, and that's going to give me similar deals that are currently on market. Now we want to go ahead and we want to refine these, okay? Because by default, it's going to give me deals that are on market at 75% or less ARV. I want to look at the 60% number, okay? This is just the standard number. I'm seeing a lot of people within all of the trainings and all the crap that I'm on all day long. This is the number a lot of people are using. I wish I could type the number in here. It would make my life easier. Basically, you're looking for active properties at 60% ARV or less. You can sort down here by days on market. And then of course you can sort by price. And then I'm gonna go ahead and hit search. And what it's going to do is it's going to bring up all these properties that are currently on the market in Dallas that are estimated to be on the market at 60% of the ARV based on the data in the system, okay? And one of the things that I thought was really awesome, a little hack that I learned from another YouTube guy, is these little red arrows, they mean that the property has been reduced. Like this price here was reduced this property was reduced $26,000 on November 14th, 2022. And so this is pretty awesome. This one here reduced $1,100 on, 2/28. Today is March 3rd. So it's been on the market for 142 days. They reduced the price, location, blah, 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 blah. So, this would be a great candidate for an agent outreach. Call them. Why has the property been on the market? It's usually how I start, like, look, property's been on the market for 100 years. What's going on? Talk to me, dog. And, give me a download, give me an update. Again, going back to just talking to people like you've known them forever. Tell me what's happening with this property. I know you've been probably talking to a bunch of investors who are making offers. Why hasn't the property sold? I like to ask that question. Is it right? Is it wrong? I don't know, but it gets the agents talking, and I can kind of get a download on what's going on. Excuse me, Pace always says, catch me up to speed, catch me up to speed on this property. Tell me what's happening so you can get a download. Certainly, if something has been on the market for 150 days, 142 days, there's a reason. So the next thing I want to talk about is how to comp a property. Now, take everything I say with a grain of salt. I'm just communicating with you the things that I have learned and how to use Privy to do it. And some of the things that were really confusing to me when I was trying to comp properties using this software. So check this out. Let's say we see this property here. They just did a price reduction. $1,100 about 4 days ago. I go into this property and I look at it and I'm like, okay, what does the condition look like? What does it need? What does it need? Where's the interior? Obviously, nothing's upgraded, nothing's updated. Okay, and I'm looking at it and I'm just getting an idea of, what the kitchen looks like and what the walls look like and what the flooring looks like and what the just general condition of the property is. Now, I scroll down to the bottom of this and I can see there is a list of properties that see all these bubbles right here, right? This was confusing to me for whatever reason. And maybe it was just me, my caveman brain or something, but everything that's a green box is going to be what's actively on the market. Everything that's, this whatever looks like, baby crap yellow is under contract. Can't use neither of these as comps. But all of this stuff in red, I can use as a comp, okay? And so what you want to do when you're comping, and this is really confusing to me, I don't know why, because it just was when I first heard it. When I was trying to comp, I'm like, okay, they want $387,000 for the property. The kitchen is dated and all this stuff. And then I would like click around. I'm like, well, how come this one's 375? And how come this one's 315? And how come this one's 320? And then I'd go in and I'd like look at all the crap in there and try to like figure out like, well, does my bathroom look like their bathroom? But that's not what you're supposed to do. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to look for properties that are updated, that are completely updated, and that are within, certain parameters. Okay, now this one here, so this property, you see I clicked this 500,000, and this is just for kind of lack of a better example. I go in and I click it, it's going to highlight it. Okay, this is in kind of the same area. I can zoom in here. Okay, it's close, it's nearby. Okay, so I can definitely use it as a comp. It's not on the other side of a main street. It's like in the same area. Let's see if I can pull up even the exterior of the property outside of these trees, it kind of has a similar, look and style, meaning we could make our property look like this one. And there was a really great training that I was on, the Homeschool by Tarek, where Tarek got on there and he straightened me out big time because I was struggling to understand the comping side of this business. I'd go in and I'm like, man, this one sold for $319. Look, it looks nice. Like, what am I missing here? Well, what I'm missing is I'd go in and I'd try to compare my property to this property, and it wouldn't necessarily be a straight across comp. What you're looking for is a property that has been rehabbed. It has been updated by somebody who's come in and has flipped it. And you can see somebody bought this property for $275,000 and then they sold it for $500,000. Okay. This ARV is related to these numbers here. I don't even know how that's useful. It's, I guess, supposed to indicate that a flipper would potentially come in and buy a property at 78% of the ARV, and that's a great thing, meaning you could reach out to this flipper who is known to buy stuff at 78% ARV. I don't think it necessarily means that somebody's going to buy your deal if it's 78% ARV, but I think in theory that's what it's supposed to mean. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to scroll up real quick because I can do a comparison between our property and this property. So 1,600 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, built in 1925. So we are a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, built in 1912. This is also one of the reasons I'm not really supposed to use this as a comp. Jamil says it's got to be within 10 years. There's probably some construction stuff that I don't know about it. But just for this video, let's pretend like we can use this as a comp, because I want to explain to you something that's really helped me in this space. Because once I was able to say, okay, I think I can use this as a comp, then it made it really easy for me to go and find out what's the max allowable offer. Because there are guys who are writing like 5, 10, 15 offers a day. I'm like, dude, how in the world are you writing that many offers? Well, it's easy because it's not easy. Let me back up a little bit. It's doable. And it's doable because what they're able to do is go in and comp the property quickly, put that number into a calculator, look at what it would take to make your property look like that property. And then once you can establish those numbers, it just tells you like, this is the most you can offer for this property based on kind of these industry margins. Super easy. So we go into this property and what we can see is like, okay, this is baller. Look, the kitchen's sick, dude. Like this property, it's awesome. $500,000. Awesome. Obviously, it's been completely updated, but somebody was willing to pay $500,000 for this 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,600 square foot home with these upgrades. Okay. And so now I know, kind of in a hypothetical scenario, without maybe taking some adjustments that I probably should, my property could potentially sell for $500,000. So does that make it a buy at $387,900? Maybe. What I need to do is put that in a max allowable offer calculator, and it will tell me my ARV is $500,000 just for this example, $500,000. This is the rehab cost. This is the acquisition, the entry fee cost, and this is my wholesale fee. So this is how much I can offer based on all those numbers, including a profit for the person who's going to come in and flip it. Because remember, if you sell this property or this contract to somebody who's going to come in and flip it, they need to make money too. So you need to factor that margin into the numbers. So I hope that was helpful, because for me, this was really difficult to understand all these bubbles and what all this crap meant. Sometimes I'll go in here and I'll be like, okay, I want to use this as a comp, but there'll be no pictures. When that happens, I just copy paste this information into Zillow, pull up the property address, and then usually Zillow has a bunch of pictures. Okay, guys, so those are all the things that I have learned over the past couple weeks, things that were confusing to me at the very beginning. I know we didn't talk about driving for dollars and, maybe some more of the specifics about agent outreach and those types of things. Maybe I'll make another video on that. I don't want this video to be super long. I just wanted to provide a bunch of value, hopefully help you get some deals. If you want to follow along in my wholesaling journey and see where it takes me, I'm going to be constantly passing along these tips and tricks, things that I've learned along the way that hopefully will help you and save you some time. Hopefully also help you get some deals faster. Please make sure you like this video and subscribe. It'd be awesome to show me that support. And if you want to do a deal or you have questions, you can email me. My email is in the description. If you want to get me on IG, it's johnny.pag. We can connect there too. I hope you guys all have an amazing day. Stay blessed.